Ooh, I had to kind of rush to get to here. I started 5 minutes before 10 so that I can end 5 minutes before midnight. Let me see. First things first, is audio being picked up? Let me see. First things first. Yes, absolutely. Good. We don't want me to go another hour without audio being picked up again. Whoops. Just when I had it straightened, too. Let's see, I wanted to do this yesterday night, but then my friends kind of last minute decided they wanted to come over to my place to hang out for the night. So I couldn't do this yesterday night, even though I planned to, even though I wanted to. I could have possibly gotten shiny Dialga yesterday. But we will never know. In another timeline, perhaps. Where that Nexus event happened. Would that even count as a Nexus event, though? Would me getting shiny Dialga one day earlier really branch the timeline? Aw, you know what? I realized I just lost my Ride-On Outbreak in my Violet game. Oh, now I gotta reset for that again. Now I gotta date skip for that again. So, let's see. Today, the world was taunting me. Today, specifically, the game Pokemon Go was taunting me. Because first thing that happened today was me failing a shiny. And for the first time in quite a while, I failed a shiny. What happened today was, in Pokemon Go, a shiny Lickitung spawned off the daily incense, and it fled. I remember it vividly as if it happened this morning. It was a 56 CP shiny Lickitung. Pokeball, excellent throw. It broke out and it fled. I didn't use any berries because, you know, it's a 56 CP. It should be low enough to a regular Pokeball should be able to catch. But the shiny Lickitung broke out and it fled. So today, I failed a shiny Lickitung in Pokemon Go. And you know what? The world kept teasing me for it too. Because today, I may have failed a shiny Lickitung, but what I did get was not one, not two, but 3 shiny Slowpokes. And also not one, but 2 shiny Combees. Now, I realize both of them are boosted shinies right now, but still, right? I would feel much better if not for 1, I got a shiny Slowpoke in Pokemon Go yesterday, and 2, if the shiny was better. Also, neither of the shiny Combees I got today were female. Both were male, because of course the hell they were. And then today was also Shadow Regigigas Raid Day. I did 12 raids. I did the 6 free raids you do throughout the 6 hour. What? I did the 6 free raids throughout the 3 hours, and then I did another 6 remote raids because you can remote raid. You can remote raid shadow raids now. Fantastic. Ultimately, I only needed 1 shiny, you know? Would have been nice to get more than 1, Would have been also nice to get a shiny Shadow with good IVs, but neither happened. I only got one Shadow shiny Regigigas with mid IVs. But you know what? It's fine. It's a Shadow shiny. This is like my, I don't know, 4th or 5th Shadow shiny like overall in the game. So you know what? That's a win in my book. My friend I saw actually got a Shundo Regigigas. Now, he did not get a Shadow shiny Hundo. No, he purified it, and it was a Hundo. He purified his shiny Regigigas, and it was a Hundo. So he now has a Shundo purified Regigigas. You know what? Good for him. Need I remind you that I, to this day, have never gotten a Hundo from a raid, ever? Throughout all my years of playing Pokemon Go, never once a single Hundo, ever, from a raid. And I don't count, you know, Shadows that can be purified to a Hundo. I don't count those. I've never gotten just a pure Hundo from a raid ever before. And you know what? Me doing 12 Regigigas raids today was actually a pretty bad idea. Not only because, 1, waste money on remote raids, but 2, remember, I have kind of limited space in my Pokemon Go. I maxed out the Pokemon storage entirely. I did clear out some space. I cleared out about like 600 spaces, and I can easily clear out more once I stop being lazy. So the fact that I did 12 Regigigas raids, and only one of them is shiny, that means I have 11 Shadow Regigigases. That means I have 11 Regigigases that I not only need to eventually purify, but also transfer to Pokemon Home. On top of the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of other legendaries and mythicals I need to transfer to Home to make some space. Oh, you know what? Speaking of Pokemon Go, I also double-checked. So last time I said that I got a 0 IV Snivy, I double-checked, and yeah, I do already have a 0 IV Snivy. So that means in my Pokemon Go, I now have 2 0 IV Snivies. That's pretty significant. It's rare enough to get a 0 IV in general, let alone a duplicate. The only duplicate 0 IVs I have at all is Meltan and Gimmighoul. Everything else, I only have 1 of each 0 IV. So yeah, I got 2 0 IV Snivies in my Pokemon Go. That's kind of neat. Also recently, I worked on getting shiny Blue Flower, Floette, and Florges in my Pokemon Violet. I was playing around, I noticed on the map there was an outbreak for a Blue Flower Floette. And ever since the Hong Kong and Japan trip, I've grown attached to Blue Flower, Floette, and Florges. Just the Blue Flower for the line. Just because the Blue Flower is regional to Asia, and I managed to get 2 shinies while I was on the trip. I am in the process of best buddying both. One is a shiny Blue Flower Floette, and the other a double XL shiny Blue Flower Florges in my Pokemon Go. I am in the process of best buddying both. And that kind of translated to me wanting to get them shiny in my Scarlet and Violet game, specifically Violet. And when I saw there was a Blue Flower outbreak, I figured, may as well do it, right? Let me tell you, man, it was hard to do, because those little things are so hard to see, due to how small they are. But I got 2. And last night, when my friends were over, I actually date skipped for a Rhydon outbreak. But then I lost it today. Whoops. So now I got a date skip for that again. At least it's no date skipping for a white stripe basculin outbreak, right? So, something I forgot to mention last time when I was just listing off a bunch of things, a bunch of updates for things that I'm interested in. One thing I forgot to mention is that Mortal Kombat 1 seems to be complete. Because a trailer came out for the complete edition of the game, including all DLCs, all purchasable skins, everything. The complete package for the game. And, well, that kind of confirms no DLC Combat Pack 3. So, 2 DLC characters. What? 2 DLC waves worth of characters, and that's it. The game's done. Oh, man. I would have liked to see another Combat Pack. You know, characters potentially joining, like Jade. Really, just Jade comes to mind. Maybe Art the Clown. I heard rumors about that. Man, so it really seems like Combat Pack 3 was cancelled after the poor reception of Combat Pack 2. And can you blame the fans? You gender bent both Cyrax and Sector. And then you try to explain like you know, there's no woke mindset that went into this. We just wanted to try something different with the characters. Oh, right. So yeah, yesterday I also managed to get the 3 remaining lucky trades I needed in Pokemon Go for the Shiny Meloetta Masterworks research. Once again, just me trading constantly random stuff between my own game and my sister's game. Just whatever spawned around, I caught it, and I would trade it in hopes to get a lucky trade. As a reminder, lucky trades happen 5% of the time, and you can, I believe, do 100 trades per day. I clearly did not get anywhere near 100 trades per day. So yesterday, I was lucky enough to get all 3 remaining lucky trades I needed. I needed 5 lucky trades to get the Shiny Meloetta. I had 2 before, so yesterday I managed to get the remaining 3 I needed. I ended up trading myself a lucky Meowth, a lucky Slackoth, and, of all things, I lucky traded myself a Vikavolt. A couple weeks ago, while at home, I opened the game and there was a wild Vikavolt that spawned. So I also grabbed my sister's phone, opened the game. The wild Vikavolt was also there, so I caught it. And then a couple weeks later, I traded to myself, and it was a lucky trade. Well, great. But that's not all. Aside from getting 5 lucky trades, I also needed to do 5 5-star or higher raids. Like, win 5 5-star raids or higher. And I gotta figure, well, today's a perfect opportunity. There is Shadow Regigigas raids everywhere, happening all day. Those are 5-star raids. Yeah, turns out those don't count. I had 3 out of 5 5-star raids done, so all I needed today was minimum 2 Shadow Regigigas raids. No, it turns out those don't count. Shadow 5-star raids don't count. Ugh. Really would have sucked too, because I was kind of banking on it working. Because after I'm done this, the very last thing I believe I need to do for Shiny Meloetta is complete 100 research tasks. So I was thinking, okay, today I will do 2 Regigigas raids, finish that, claim it right away, so that I can immediately start spinning Pokestops, getting task researches, and completing them. Yeah, that didn't happen, because turns out 5-star legendary shadow raids don't count. I got a shiny Shadow Regigigas today, at least. On top of 3 shiny Slowpokes and 2 shiny Combees. You know, it's kind of a bad thing right now, me getting all these shinies and legendaries, because like I said, I don't have a lot of space in my Pokemon Go. I'm out of space, literally. And I need a buttload of time to clear things out without paying. I could fork over all the money I need to, you know, recharge the transporter quickly, but that's stupid. And you know what? I think I understand why you can only transfer 7 legendaries a week to Pokemon Home. You know, you get 1 free daily raid pass every day. If you, let's say you do 1 legendary raid every single day and you transfer it every single day, well, there are 7 days a week and you do 7 raids a week. Yeah, I guess it kind of makes sense. Why in 1 week you can only transfer 7. Kind of wish I knew about this sooner and had started doing this sooner. But, oh well, I deal with the consequences now that it's a little too late. Oh, you want to know something funny? A friend of mine attended a wedding today, and he sent a picture of what the wedding looks like. It's taking place in a school. Not even a church, not at a venue, it's at a school. Like, he sent me a picture of all the tables set up in the gym with tables and wine glasses. They're in a school gym doing a wedding. That's the first I'm hearing of this. And also, you know, poor bride and groom, because today it was like thunderstorming throughout the daytime, so like unfortunate timing to pick a wedding. That was one of my sister's top concern when picking her wedding date. She was just like, oh, I hope to God it doesn't rain that day, because my sister had an outdoors wedding. It rained in the morning, but for the rest of the afternoon, it was pretty clear skies. I think. Or was it cloudy? I think it was partially cloudy. Oh, that's right. There was something I wanted to show you guys. So a certain douchebag showed up at work yesterday and dropped off something that I asked him to buy for me. Or rather, he showed me and I was like, yes, I want. Buy that for me, please. So he got me this Gashapon here, this capsule machine toy, which is very zoomed in and orange. What's in it, you ask? I don't know how well the lighting is for you to see this. You can see here that what was in there was Animal Kirby. It kind of sucks that there's a little bit of a dent right here. You see that? There's a bit of a dent right there. But that's not all. It also came with this stand. So the way it looks is... The way it looks is like this. Kinda. There. Okay, there we go. So it's meant to look like this. Now it doesn't come off very clear on camera, but believe me when I say, Craven the Hunter-esque pose. When are we getting Animal Kirby back? I think the last time we had Animal Kirby was Squeak Squad. Talk about obscure Kirby copy abilities. Animal Kirby. That's as obscure as, say, Bubble Kirby, Cupid Kirby, UFO Kirby. Yes, those are real. People complain about Dexit and all the Pokemon being cut. When are we getting a Kirby game with every Kirby copy ability ever in the history of the series? Oh yeah, there's also, of course, a piece of paper inside that shows all of the other options. So you can see here I got Animal Kirby. Here's I forget which Kirby that is. This one's obviously Ice and Cook Kirby. Which Kirby is this? It's not Poison. Which Kirby is that? Hold on. Wait, why don't I remember what this Kirby's called? Hold on. Part of me is thinking it's called Alchemy Kirby. That's not true. Is it just simply Scientist Kirby? Oh no, Dr. Kirby. Huh, Dr. Kirby. Dr. Kirby was in Planet Robobot? He was? I don't remember that. I really wish I could play Planet Robobot again. And I mean that as here on the channel. I really wish I could do that, cuz I only played Robobot once when it came out. And I had a blast playing the game. I really don't remember all that much about the game anymore. I wish I could play it again and relive it here with you guys, but I don't know how to do that. And as you can see, I clearly don't have a capture card for the 3DS. Oh, there's one more thing I wanted to mention. So earlier today, while playing Pokemon Go, I was walking around and I saw this cute girl, like really pretty girl, walking around with her boyfriend, and I could tell it wasn't like a brother or anything. I could tell it was her boyfriend because I saw he had 2 hickeys on his neck. And you know what? Seeing that just made me sad. You wanna know why it made me sad? Because I don't have that. And I never will. You only live once. You only have one shot at life. And I will never have that. You know, yesterday when my friends were over, they were saying how they were saying why Hinge might not be working for me. It's because I don't send messages. I don't send any prompts. All I do is send a like and move on. I don't know, man. Like, sending a message, sending a cringe pickup line just isn't me. Just isn't my style. Ultimately, I shouldn't care, you know? Why should I care? I send a stranger online a pickup line message who will more than likely not even respond. What, am I afraid that if I ever run into this person in public, they're gonna recognize me, they're gonna point at me like, hey, you're that guy on Hinge who sent me that really stupid and cringe message. And I'm gonna be embarrassed in public? It's like, why should I care? Why should I care if I send a cringe message or not? But I do, so I don't do it. I don't know, like I said, sending those pickup line messages just isn't me. Like, I feel so disgusted of myself whenever I even try. Like, I'm typing out a message on dating apps. It's like, oh my god, I'm really about to say this? I'm really about to send this? This is horrible. This actually works? These awful lines actually work? Well, my friend is living, breathing proof. Yep, it actually works. I don't know. Well, guess the bloodline ends with me. It's not... all hope's not lost. The bloodline can still continue with my sister. Although, Asian parents-wise, they want the last name to continue, so that's why they want a boy to have... That's why they want a boy to give them a grandkid. You know, a part of me can understand the appeal of seeing or knowing that your last name will continue for generations upon generations. But at the end of the day, it's like, does it really matter? Who really cares? You know? Like, my last name is my dad's last name, and I assume grandpa's last name and grandpa before him. But, like, you know, I don't think about my last name as being the same last name as 5 generations ago had. I mean, sure, that's neat, but, like, that plays no part of my life. That does not impact my life whatsoever. I'm borderline about to quit. I'm still trying to get a shiny Gardevoir in my Brilliant Diamond game. I'm borderline about to quit Poke-Radaring it. I managed to get 2 chains of 40 of Curlia and Pokerus before I even get 1 single chain of 40 with Ralts, let alone a shiny Ralts to evolve into a Gardevoir. Like, really let that sink in. I got 2 separate cases of a combo of 40 with Curlia, a 1% spawn. And I still can't even get that to happen once with Ralts. And I got Pokerus before actually getting the combo of 40. And you know what? This won't even be the end, because I plan to hunt Baltoy after Gardevoir. Oh yeah, yesterday, when my friends came over, I wanted us to watch a movie. I wanted to watch Smile 2, but we just sat there chatting the whole night, and then time flew by. By the time, we decided... By the time we were thinking, should we even still watch a film, it was too late. It was like 10:30, and then, maybe a 2-hour film, it's past midnight. And my friend did have a wedding to attend today at a school of all places. So he didn't want to go to sleep too late. So we did not end up actually watching anything last night. We just chilled and chatted. You know what? A lot of films that we watch, it's actually him recommending to us. And he's recommending it because he already watched it with his girlfriend. So that means he's rewatching all the films. And he's just like, he doesn't really want to do that. But it's like, well, it's kind of a paradox, ain't it? You recommend the film because you already watched it. But you don't want to rewatch the film, yet you're recommending it. And it's just like, oh, hell yeah. He also asked me, like, why do you... Man. He was also like, you really want to watch Smile 2, huh? And I'm just like, hell yeah. You recommended the first film. We're gonna watch the second film. Alright, well, I think that's enough stalling. I waited for half an hour for anyone to show up so we can have a back and forth discussion about the shows I watched. But nobody showed up. Oh well, I'll just talk about the shows into an empty void. What music should I play? What music should I play? You know what? I'm gonna pre-screen the music first, because I don't know which version I'm looking for. Oh, you know what? This playlist showed up, I'm just gonna play it. Pokemon Black and White relaxing music for 1 hour. You know, I bought a Japanese copy of both Black and White on my trip, and I still haven't even touched them. You know what's really scaring me the most about playing those games? It's not the language barrier. It's the fact that isn't Black City and White Forest on a time limit? Like, the faster you progress through the main story of the game, the more those places get developed, and the slower you play through, then the less developed it is. I don't know if there's a way for you to redevelop it after taking too long, because to this day, my original Black copy, my Black City, is nothing but just 2 buildings that you can't even enter. I to this day don't know how to fix that. Like, if I really do need to play through the game fast, well, it's a bit of a shame. I have some shiny Pokemon I would love to use on my team. You know, those full, juicy 1 in 8,000 odds. I think Man's passed out. I texted him twice so that he would be here when I talk about From, and his ass ain't here. Well, whatever. Let's talk about the boys first. This episode was much more tame than the first episode of Season 3. You know, where the guy got Thanis'd. Or rather, since it happened in the front, would that be he got Thanis'd? Well, if I'm not mistaken... Well, the pacing and the structure for the boys has always been a mess, just because of how big the cast is. Several plots and storylines playing out all at once. So, the pacing and the structuring of each episode always jumps back and forth. So I guess I'll just talk about one story at a time. Mainly for this episode, it was Homelander's birthday. So there's a big celebration planned for Homelander's birthday. He even goes to visit Stormfront, which I think I forgot to mention last time. Stormfront's alive. Homelander's, though, he's not feeling his birthday. Things haven't really been going Homelander's way recently. Stan Edgar is kind of, you know, just making Homelander submit to him. Homelander doesn't like that. Starlight has been made co-captain of the Seven. Starlight needs to do this, like, this dance routine music number while singing happy birthday to Homelander on stage. But Stan Edgar intervenes, like, if Starlight doesn't want to dance, then she does not need to dance. Well, Homelander is basically at his breaking point, because there is an incident going on. There's a girl about to take her own life, jumping off a building. Homelander shows up, quote-unquote, trying to stop her. But then Homelander just basically pours his soul out. Just like, you know, I don't even have a real birthday. This is just the day that the marketing department picked for me to be my birthday. You know, I wasn't even born. I came out of a test tube. Well, the big Jumbotron screen behind him on... Oops. These goddamn ads. I got an ad for How to Train Your Dragon. Live action. Anyways, the big screen broadcasting the news on the side of a building for some reason is showing that Stormfront has committed suicide by biting her own tongue and drowning in her own blood. Like, damn, that's quite a bad way to go. And that's like the only way Stormfront could have taken her own life. She is literally immobile. She can't move. So the only way to basically die... And remember, Stormfront, she's lived for centuries. Only way for her to die is this, a pretty brutal and painful way. Not only do you have to bite off your own tongue, but then you have to drown in your own blood. You know, assuming that she didn't turn to the side and bleed out first. Well, Homelander is pretty broken, pretty distraught about that. So now he is basically threatening this girl who no longer wants to jump. It's like, I'm telling you, you're going to jump now. And she does. There was also this scene with Ashley and A-Train. Ashley has a new assistant. Also Ashley. A different girl also by the name of Ashley, and A-Train's just like, okay. Yeah, me too, man. It's like, okay. Ashley and Ashley, alright. So, A-Train's trying to pitch a brand new idea to the Seven. Basically, A-Train, he said, even he said himself, that he is a proud black man who wants to get in touch with his roots. So he throws a couple of ideas out there, pitches a couple ideas. I think one was like a documentary of A-Train connecting to his African roots. And then he pitched this idea, which is horrible. This is like one of the worst ideas possible. A video game on the slave trade. Are you kidding me, man? And then A-Train also proposes a new suit. We see that new suit later on in the episode, and it's horrendous. It looks like the man is wearing what you look when you look through a kaleidoscope. The new suit looks terrible. It is red, green, blue. It doesn't work. It looks like whoever made the Deep's suit made this, but threw in some red and blue. It's horrible. What amazes me the most is the fact that, you know, production for the show, like actually real life, production for the show actually made the suit. Made the awful looking suit. Hey, kudos to them. Well, on stage when Starlight is singing happy birthday to Homelander, Homelander completely snaps to the audience. And here, once again, finally I hear lines that I recognize from Mortal Kombat. The references to the show, I'm now understanding what those are referencing to. Certain lines like Homelander saying, "You should be thanking your gods I am what I am."
What are you gonna do to it?
My god, these ads. Although in the show he said it a little differently. In the show he said, "You should be thanking your gods I am who and what I am." I think. And then in the show, now I understand, he also said like, "You need me. You need me to save you." Yeah, I understand where that comes from now. Okay, let's see. So, I think that's pretty much it for this. Let's see. Also at the beginning of the episode, we see Butcher dreaming and kind of hallucinating that he is taking V24. He's contemplating actually taking the stuff and giving himself 24 hours temporary soup powers. Need I say more? It's Butcher we're talking about, the guy who hates soups with all his heart and soul. We also see that Huey spilled the beans on what he found out about Victoria Newman to Annie. So now they know that Victoria Newman is the head popper, she's a soup herself. And Huey starts blaming himself. Like, "I've been working for her for a whole year, how could I not have seen this? What a fool I've been, Butcher was right the whole time." So, despite Annie's warnings to just stay put, don't tell anything to anyone, don't do anything, Huey, yeah, of course he can't. So he goes out and he investigates. He goes to an orphanage. At first I was wondering, why is he at an orphanage? And, well, not gonna lie, I didn't really consider this about the universe. We learned previously that soups are made when babies were injected with Compound V as an infant. Yeah, I didn't really think about what life would be like growing up, raising a child with powers like that. How on edge you must be for your life every single waking moment. So we see that this is an orphanage for soup children. Every single child has abilities that they're still learning to control, like gravity, manipulation, teleportation, other things. It's like, oh my god, I would hate to work there. I could be killed at any moment and the kid would not even know what happened. And you know what? No surprise, this orphanage is kinda run by Vought, if I'm not mistaken. Because Huey gets noticed as being Starlight's boyfriend, so they're about to report it in. But then Huey's just like, no, please. The truth is, Starlight sent me here. The doctor said I have bad sperm, so, you know, we're looking to adopt. And miraculously, they buy it. Now, the real reason Huey was here is to get information on who Victoria Newman really is. So he sneaks a USB drive to the computer, copying everything on the computer. Now, this is just the show, you know. Once you stick a USB drive into a computer, don't you get that dun 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 sound effect? And isn't there usually a pop-up on the screen like, you know, USB connected? Now, this is a special USB made for the sake of copying literally everything on the computer, so I suppose it would be programmed to not have those things pop up. But still. Well, whatever. Huey, after he escapes, he learns that Victoria Newman was an orphan and adopted by none other than Stan Edgar, the head, the CEO, the director of Vought. So, yikes. I'm not gonna lie, that was a plot twist I did not see coming. We also get rehearsals of Supersonic. Cool. Small scenes with Supersonic in this episode. What else happened? So anyways, Huey is about to be confronted by Victoria Newman, but then Annie swoops in and saves him again. W girlfriend, lucky Huey. So, yeah. Huey tells Annie everything that he found out, so now they need to figure out what to do. Let's see. I think the third and final story of this episode, the hunt for what happened to Soldier Boy, continues. So, the boys split up once again to find leads. Frenchie and Yumiko, what? Yumiko? Frenchie and Kimiko go to this, like, Vought fair. This street fair. And my god, I don't give the show a pass for this. This scene was... oh god. Do not give me your Doom the Dark Ages ad. I don't have ad block, okay, folks? Deal with it. So they go to this super woke fair, this carnival fair, and I'm not giving the show a pass for this. Even if it is a jab at this stuff, you know, at all this woke bullshit, they had things set up like, I forget, it was like the LGBTQ BBQ stand. There was something else there. There was like 3 others. Not gonna lie, the puns were pretty funny, but still, they had it in the episode nonetheless. Again, don't forget what era the show was made. Even if it is a jab roasting these topics, the show still has it in the show. It still has it in the show. You know? Why is it so hard these days to find content? Find either show or movie that have no relation to that bullshit whatsoever. Even if it's making fun of them? No. No. Why can't it be free of all that stupidity in general? Period. Absolutely nothing in the content. Well, if it's anything, at least I gotta give them props for the production value. They actually went through the trouble of making all those set pieces, all those props, all those like food stands and carnival rides. I'm sure they rented those, or they rented a spot at, say, like, I don't know, CNE. Anyways, Frenchie and Kimiko are looking for clues on what happened to Soldier Boy. So, Crimson Countess is there to perform a singing eulogy to Soldier Boy. Not gonna lie, that show would actually be pretty lit. To see a superhero actually use her light powers as stunts for the show, that'd be pretty fire. But whatever. So I guess Vought, or whoever runs them, I don't know if Vought actually runs these characters, right? So they have this sort of setup where fans get to go into her changing room, not for that reason, to meet and greet. Okay, that's kind of weird. They go into her change room for meet and greets, I guess. All right. Frenchie and Kimiko go in. They are acting all nice and nonchalant, and then they break the ruse, break the guys, and start going on the attack for information. While Crimson Countess runs away, they chase, and then Crimson Countess uses her powers on the poor guy in the Homelander mascot and just gets blown up. Like, man, it was brutal. It was bloody. And that poor guy inside the suit didn't deserve that, man. He was just a normal guy trying to make a living, trying to work for a living, and was killed by Crimson Countess. What? Crimson Countess. Before all that happened, Kimiko wanted to go on the roller coasters. Well, turns out she didn't actually want the roller coasters herself. She and her brother just never had a childhood, so she wanted to, live some of that out. Poor girl. She feels like she also traumatized 2 kids with that death. And, Kimiko claims that she's broken and can't be fixed. Don't worry, girl, I can fix you. Let's see. So, Butcher, he goes on his own lead. He goes after another member, previously part of the Paybacks, Gunpowder. Meets Gunpowder at this gun convention. At first I was wondering, like, wait a second, you went through the metal detector, you just pull out a piece, and they just let you in? What kind of airport is this? But then they zoom out and it's a gun convention. Man, they really got me there. He walks through the metal detectors, it's just like, oh, it's just this. Pulls out like a 9mm, and the security guard is just like, that's a nice piece, sir, please come on in. It's like, what? What kind of airport is this? Oh, it's not an airport, it's a gun convention. Man, why is this in the relaxing music playlist? Ah, much better. So yeah, Butcher talks to Gunpowder in the urinals, or in the bathrooms, and then he pulls some dirt over Gunpowder, like something about him and Soldier Boy when he was young and a minor. I don't know. I didn't catch all the details. Of course, I keep wanting to call him Bulletproof. This ain't invincible. Of course, Gunpowder tells him to fuck off. And then, Gunpowder tries to assassinate Butcher in the parking lot. Not gonna lie, this sequence was pretty awesome. Makes me kind of wonder, though. You know how parking lots have those mirrors on top? Gunpowder was able to see Butcher with that, but Butcher didn't realize that himself? Come on, Butcher, I know you're better than this. Well, of course, Butcher with plot armor gets away. Not unscathed, however. I forget when in the episode he goes to talk to MM. Where he's trying to convince MM if we can find the weapon that killed Soldier Boy, we have a chance to kill Homelander. I know your connection with, with Soldier Boy. Something to do with his father's death? Remember in the previous season we learned about MM's father was dead over his office desk? Maybe I missed something in regards to Soldier Boy having something to do with it? I'll have to see if the season will remind me. But yeah. MM is hesitant, but he does indeed give Butcher what he knows about Soldier Boy. Because we see that MM on his very own was also looking into Soldier Boy. Well, round 2, Butcher goes back to deal with Gunpowder. And this time, Butcher has powers. He is bulletproof, he has super strength, and he has laser vision. So, he actually took the V-24. Oh, Butcher, you've become what you've hated the most. You've become what you've sworn to destroy. Oh my god, this Mike Tyson body wash ad is popping up all the time. I'm probably missing a lot of details. So, end of the episode. Oh yeah, beginning of the episode, he had a Skype call with Ryan. Butcher had a Skype call with Ryan. So, rest in peace to Skype. That I think that got shut down recently. Rest in peace to Skype. Oh no, you just recognize the jingle that is a Skype call. So yeah, he had a Skype call with Ryan, and Ryan sent him a video that was stop motion Legos. Stop motion Legos with his mother's voice, with Becca's voice, because for some reason Ryan recorded his mother's voicemail. Alright. Butcher's all sad about this. Butcher calls Huey to tell him that, you know, maybe Huey was right. Maybe he should let this all go and move on with his life. Maybe he should leave this life behind. Huey, hearing that his friend Butcher is kind of going through it right now, and also Huey realizes that Butcher was right instead, Huey just drops the bomb. Victoria Newman's a soup. She's the head popper, and her adoptive father is Stan Edgar. Yeah, the whole system is rigged. I tried for the past year to do it the right way. Yeah, it didn't work. Butcher, you were right. We need to do things your way. And that just snaps some sense into Butcher. Oh, I'm sure I'm missing a lot of details. Let's see, end of the episode, the end credits, we heard Supersonic's song. Not gonna lie, the song was actually pretty catchy, at least until it was saying stuff like, "You're my 16-year-old queen." At that point, never mind. I get that in the context of the show, he wrote that when he was a teen, but it's like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be bumping to that in the car ride. I don't need the cops to pull me over and then for them to hear on my playlist, "You're my 16-year-old queen." I don't think I need that in my life. Well, for the most part, there you go. The Boys Season 3, Episode 2. I'm gonna text this asshole one more time. Let's see if he'll show up for the From discussion. You know, the other day when he dropped by, and also dropped off Animal Kirby over here, that was the first time that he brought his new girlfriend over for me to see what she looks like. Actually, that doesn't sound right. Let's just say it was the first time that I saw what his new girlfriend looks like. Now, I didn't get a chance to stand next to her to see which one of us is taller. There's a good chance she's taller than me. There's a very good chance she's taller than me. I don't know, from just a quick glance I got, it almost, and I mean almost, looks like I'm just a tiny bit taller. Maybe by like half an inch. Or maybe that's just me coping. Yeah, ain't no way I'm attending any future high school reunion, because every soul there will be taller than me. Damn, a lot of people I know from back in high school who were shorter than me, they had their growth spurts and are like 2 heads taller than me. And then if I ever run into them again, they're like, damn bro, you didn't grow whatsoever since the last time I saw you. It's like, yeah, I know. So yeah, no. High school reunion, no. I shall not attend. Oh, you know what? Speaking of my friends' girlfriends, because apparently that's a topic I discuss all the time now. My other friend's girlfriend, who I mentioned before, just randomly texted me for some reason. Yeah, she just randomly freaking added me to an Instagram group chat. Now, listen to the context. She added me to an Instagram group chat for Pokemon Go. Like, she herself is hooked on the game now, and she knows I am terminally on the game. She added me onto a freaking group chat with her friends and family, so I got added into a group chat full of strangers. Because who doesn't love when that happens? Especially abruptly, too, when you least expect it. So yeah, she randomly just added me into a group chat on Instagram for playing Pokemon Go. Alright. I haven't told her yet that I ran out of space in my Pokemon Go, so I need to be more reserved on playing the game and what I do. You know, maybe not do as many legendary raids. I mean, today's a pretty bad example of that. I did 12 Shadow Regigigas raids. With only one being shiny. Well, enough dilly-dallying, let's talk about From again. Yay. Because I love this show. Wow, this show is so amazing. I can't get enough of it. Honestly, this episode was not that bad. There was obviously highlights from this episode, but then again, there were moments that honestly could have made me cry. Like, this show is actively taking years off of my life. I could have cried when I saw characters were doing nothing. when I was thinking like, why is no one doing this, right? What song is this, by the way? This one, Route 10. I gotta keep that in mind. So, this episode, they actually do hammer in that it's only been like 4 days since season 2 ended. And you know what? Evidently so. I can tell that the seasons were filmed back to back. So the fact that, you know, we waited, or rather you guys, I didn't have to, you guys out there waited a year between seasons. Yeah, I didn't. I chose not to watch this show for a couple months. Do we have any news on season 4, by the way? I'm not really keeping up with news on this show. But yet, I'm keeping up with Ironheart. Ain't my life just backwards? I found out Ironheart is only 6 episodes, and they're releasing all 3 episodes as a premiere. Or the first 3 as a premiere. Didn't they release all of Echo at once? Which also was awful. The only saving quality of Echo was Kingpin. And, you know, like the minute and a half that Daredevil showed up. Yeah, I'm looking at the Wikipedia page. All of Echo came out at once. Man, they really should have just dropped all of Ironheart at once. Just get it out there and get it done with. They better not. I don't know if it's been confirmed already. I'm just saying right now without knowing. They better not drop all 3 episodes and then drop the next 3 weekly apart. Making us watch the show for a full month. You should just drop all 6 episodes. Make us endure the 6 hours. Assuming each episode's an hour. Who knows? Maybe we'll be lucky and each episode's like 30 minutes. Just let us fans endure it for the day and just be done with it. Why delay it any further? You know what you have is a stinker. Just give it to us and be done with it. Anyways. Couple key things happened in this episode. Tabitha wakes up inside of Victor's father's home. I don't even think we learned what his name was. So, turns out that Tabitha passed out right in front of the house. And honestly, not that surprisingly, Victor's father just, you know, holds her there with a gun, like, you're gonna tell me where you found my son's lunchbox. So, kind of makes sense. The man's, not only just the man's son, his entire family disappeared decades ago. And only now a woman showing up with his son's lunchbox? Yeah, you kind of can't blame him for pointing a gun at her and being like, you're gonna tell me everything. Where did you find this goddamn lunchbox that belonged to my son, who disappeared decades ago? So yeah, Tabitha tries to explain, but obviously he doesn't believe her. Turns out that, you know, Tabitha was just like, please don't call the police. And then Victor's father's like, I called the police 20 minutes ago. 20 minutes ago? Well, shit, if there was an emergency, you'd be dead 20 minutes ago. 20 minutes ago and they're still not here? shit! Like, what were the cops doing 20 minutes ago? And then we find out later that what he said, he was just like, hey, sorry cops, I thought it was a burglar, but it was just a dog. You know, the owner took care of his own dogs. Like, so you're telling me it took the cops more than 20 minutes to show up under the impression that a burglar has broken in? Are you kidding me? Whatever, fine. Eventually Tabitha does say stuff that makes Victor's father actually agree, like not really agree, but begin to believe what she's saying. Tabitha actually begins to convince Victor's father, like, I can prove to you by telling you the truth. Look up people who went missing, you know? So Victor's father looked up the Matthews family online. They're missing. Look up, you know, Boyd Stephen and his family. Look up Kenny's family. Dude is still convinced that, like, you somehow faked these articles online. Once again, it's like, alright, fine, in this modern day and age, assuming the show takes place in present day, fine. You know, she's telling you a crazy story. It's kinda not impossible that she faked those articles online, albeit it's a lot of work. But fine. I'll give you a pass for being a little bit skeptical. What Tabitha finally said to make Victor's father believe is, you know, the children locked away in the tower. I needed to save them. Something like that. And that actually convinced Victor's father. Because Victor's father showed Tabitha the room that belonged to his children, you know, his son and daughter. And then he was just like, his wife Miranda also said that before. And then, you know, everything you're saying kind of lines up. So the only logical explanation I could come up with is that you're telling me the truth. And that my son is alive and stuck at this horrific place. Tabitha is just like, I believe... Wait, no, before that. Victor's father was right to question, like, so I'm led to believe you're the one and only person who ever escaped, ever got away from this nightmare place that you're telling me about. Tabitha's just like, yeah, I believe I was sent here to find you. Victor's father's like, no, I believe you were sent here for what's in the basement. Victor's father says that, well, it tells a story what led up to his wife hearing the voices and seeing the children that she needs to rescue. And when that happened, she painted everything she saw. So in the basement, there's a whole bunch of paintings. Not gonna lie, that's pretty horrific. Your basement has paintings of, like, 2 little children and then, like, a bunch of other horrific things. And you kept those for decades. Like, it must be a nightmare to go into your own basement every time. Not only those scary pictures on the floor, but also what they were, what they meant. Who painted them? Your wife painted those decades ago, and she's been missing all this time. And those horrific looking paintings are in your basement. Jeez. But whatever. So, Victor's father just spills all of it. And I'm just thinking, like, did this man get a hold of the script for the show? Because he's saying everything perfectly. Like, too perfectly. Almost as if he was there himself. He's saying everything too perfectly. And the thing that makes me question it as well is, like, you're telling me your wife said this to you decades ago and you remember all of it this vividly? Like, he explained everything precisely as it was happening in real time. So he was saying stuff like his wife saw visions of children, of a place made of nightmares. There were people there. People stuck there. And, you know, all they had was each other. They had hope, but once that hope was lost, they relied on each other, whatever he said. Like, he said everything that was happening perfectly. A little too perfectly. It's like, goddamn, the dude got a hold of the script for the show. And also, the dude has pristine memory. Did he, like, write it down somewhere and rehearsed it? Because there's no way... There's just no way that he would remember absolutely everything his wife said, to the word, that clearly, for decades. Let's 20 years bare minimum. 20, 30 years minimum. Decades, and he remembers it this clearly? Fine, whatever. So then he also was like, his wife believed that she was chosen to free the children. But she also said, you know, Victor's mother also said that she was not the first one to be chosen. There were people before who were chosen to free the children, but all have failed. Well, now that Tabitha sees the children and sees the tower, she's now been chosen. You know what that makes me question, though? So, Victor's mother presumably died at this place decades ago. So, for decades, was there no one, quote-unquote, chosen until Tabitha showed up? Because Victor's mom, based on everything Victor's dad said, Victor's mom was chosen before she even arrived there. So she saw visions of this place and the children before even arriving to that town. So in the time between Victor's mother and Tabitha, did other people have visions before going there? Or was there no one until Tabitha? You know, it's like when a Titan shifter dies before the Titan powers gets passed, someone else, another wait, what was the name again? Another person will eventually be born with the Titan shifting power. So presumably there's time between the power getting lost and then born into someone new. So, like, was there... Eldian, that's it. Another Eldian. I almost said Edenian, but no, that's Mortal Kombat. So, like, was there no one else, quote-unquote, chosen until Tabitha showed up? Or were there and we just haven't heard about it? Anyways, that's the stuff that happened outside of town. In town... So they're dealing with the aftermath of Kenny's mother's death. Tin Chen, I think was her name. This is where, like, you know, the highlight of the episode really was. Everyone is dreading Kenny's return to break the news to him. And, you know, Kenny's reaction to not only his mother's death, but now the fact that both his parents has died here. So, when we first jump back to, you know, into the town, we see that Jade and Victor are just in the bar with all of Jade's junk laying around with a bunch of goats inside. And someone has to go check on the barn, see what happened in there. Jade goes and checks. He sees that Kenny's mother is dead. And then Boyd is just there constantly saying something. The subtitles only said Boyd was speaking in Cantonese. They did not say what he was saying. Even I couldn't understand what Boyd was saying. I'm just like, what the fuck are you saying, Boyd? I can't hear you whatsoever. We find out later what he was saying. So both Jade and Boyd need to carry Kenny's mother out. They carry her to the church. Ah, Undella Town, where everyone got jump scared by Cynthia. So, we see that it's now snowing, like legitimately snowing in the town. And I'm just like, yo, that's maybe a good thing. The dead cow in the middle of the street is getting preserved. At least the decay is slowing down because of the cold. But then I'm just like, why is everyone standing around? They're all... Like, I get it, they're all watching Boyd and Jade carry Kenny's mother. But, like, why are you all standing around? There's a dead cow on the floor! Why is none of you preparing it? You're saying food is scarce. You're saying that you need more rations. There is a dead cow in the street, and none of you are dealing with it? Hurry up and move! Gut that thing and chop it up! Preserve it, fools! Like, why is no one moving on that cow? We also did not see Randall at all this episode. Man, if he was in this episode, he would have snatched that cow up for himself, like he wanted a goat last episode. So Donna comes over and talks to Boyd about what happened. Donna almost tries to, almost kind of is like, was it worth it, Boyd? What did you save? Couple of animals? Was it worth one of our lives? Boyd's just like, so what? We were just supposed to see our resources, our best chance of survival. The animals just wander off into the forest? Donna's just like, we would have came up with a different plan. We would have figured it out. But because you went out to deal with the animals, we lost one of our own. Boyd's just like, oh, shut the fuck up, Donna. You yourself was just about to give up and hop in a hole to die, giving up hope. And you're telling me I should have done nothing. In a way, I kind of agree with both sides. It may have been best for Boyd to just sit still and maybe just let the animals go. On the other hand, though, he's also right in, like, yeah, Donna was about to give up, and now she's saying Boyd should have done nothing, and they would have just come up with a different plan. So, Donna is the one to finally move and start prepping the cow. Yes! Thank you, Donna. Finally, someone is moving on that dead cow! We see her later butchering it, chopping it up, cutting out loins from the leg. Nice! Excellent job, Donna. Finally, someone is doing something impactful. Now, if you can find a way to preserve it, it's cold outside, so if you wrap it up, preserve it, and freeze it just by putting it outside, then you're good for a time being. You can make stew with it. What? Anyway, so both Jim and Kenny find vegetables, food galore next to the lake. So they were sleeping in a cabin, literally right outside the cabin. was a lake, and growing along the shore of that lake is a whole bunch of vegetables, lettuces, very clean lettuces without even a hint of dirt. Almost as if behind the scenes, they just put a head of lettuce that they just bought from the grocery store there. But yeah, there is vegetables galore there. And I'm just thinking like, man, that writing just isn't that great, honestly, in my opinion. Like, it's more so just unfortunate for the characters, you know? Their crops can't grow anymore, so they risk their lives for the livestock, Kenny's mom losing her life, only for them to be like, hey, there wasn't food there before, and then the next morning, look, there's magically tons of food here. We're saved! I don't know, it's just like, that writing just doesn't sit right with me. The day before, they didn't see any food, but then the next day, there is food now. That writing just doesn't sit right with me, man. It's like, I don't want to say it's convenient writing, like it's convenient for the plot, that they randomly just found more food. But whatever, man. Everyone's grieving the death of Tien Chen, if I'm even saying her name right. Well, the dreaded moment comes. Kenny and Jim return with a bunch of food, but, you know, everyone notices, hey, something's up. Everyone's surrounding us with very distraught faces. What's going on? Jim's just like, where are my children? They're fine. Great. Good for you, Jim. Kenny, poor Kenny, he's just like, wait, where's my mom? And then he's, you know, shouts towards what is his house with his mother, like, in Chinese, Mom, I'm home, you know? He just says, Ma, 我翻咗嚟啊. Yeah, I actually understood what he said. That is so sad. That's heartbreaking, you know? A boy crying out for his mother that he's home, only for his mother to not answer, not respond, because she's not there anymore. That is so heartbreaking. Well, Kenny goes into the diner and just sits, taking it in. Christy with him. I gotta say, Kenny took it great. Obviously, everyone takes news like that differently. Everyone grieves differently. Kenny took the news rather well, if I'm being honest. Like, if I was him, I would have broken down. I would have been destroyed. Kenny, yo, he took it pretty well. A part of me is sad to say this. Like, I'm sorry, man. Like, you're the actor playing Kenny. I see here his name is Ricky He. Yo, my man, Ricky. Like, my man, Ricky. I don't think you're able to cry on command, my brother. Like, I'm sorry. Your acting was great, you know? However, I didn't see really any tears. Now, I'm not saying I could do a better job. I wish I could do a better job. I wish I was an actor and I could do better than this. I wish I can, you know, cry for the performance. But, you know, I'm not an actor. So I'm not saying I could do a better job. I wish I could do a better job. But, like, Ricky, I didn't see any tears. Like, any scene of you being upset, I saw, like, one scene of a tear, but it looked fake. I didn't see your eyes water. For God's sake, I saw Christy's eye water. I saw everyone else's eyes water. I saw Victor's dad's eyes water. I didn't see your eyes water, man. I didn't see Kenny's eyes water whatsoever. And the tear that I saw looked fake. his emotional acting was fine, but it's just the performance, you know? I didn't see any tears. I didn't see any, like, actual sad emotion being portrayed. Like, I'm sorry, man, but I just didn't see any of that. If it were me, if my mother died in this horrible place, I would have broken down. Like, every scene I saw Kenny upset. In the diner, and even next to his mother's dead body, I didn't see any tears flow. Not one. I'm sorry. Well, Kenny did ask Christy for a favor. You know, can he make his mother look nice? Presentable. Because she would have hated if she did not look like her. Christy and Jade both worked together to make Kenny's mother look presentable, look like herself. I gotta say, it took 3 seasons for me to see some actual gore. Thus far, all the deaths have been off-screen. Boyd got some flashbacks to the monsters actually brutally torturing Kenny's mother. That poor old lady, she didn't deserve to die like that. Like, really. That poor old lady did not deserve to die like that. So we see the monster's claws rip her legs apart. We did not see her chest cavity get emptied out. However, that's actually what happened to her. Her chest cavity is empty, which is horrific. Man, I was kind of, you know, on the edge of my seat, just expecting a jump scare. Because whenever we saw Kenny's dead mother, I was borderline waiting for her to jump up like Madame Beau did. But no, she did not. She was really lying there dead. Well, Kenny also hatches a plan to get revenge. He's filling up bottles with liquor, and he's going to go to that cave where the monsters are and burn it down. Boyd's just like, alright, let's do this. I'm with you. We're doing this together. They go to the cave entrance. A part of me is thinking like, wait a second, did nobody think to maybe block this off? Ever since you guys discovered where the monsters are during day, you discovered that they live here in this cave. Did you guys not think about like blocking off the entrance? Now, I'm kind of thinking like you block off the entrance with a bunch of bricks and cement, but they clearly don't have cement. And there's really not a whole lot they could use to block it off, like perma-seal it. They could board it up with planks of wood, but the monsters can easily just break through that. I don't know. So I would have to see like what they might have. What they might have that could block off the entrance. And yes, my voice did just crack. I don't know. So Kenny's just like, I can only imagine how scared she must have been. She was alone. I was really afraid, you know, because I feel like Boyd was going to reveal she wasn't alone. I was there, and they made me watch. Jade also rightfully questions that as well. Jade was just like, Boyd, you were in the barn last night with Kenny's mom and those monsters. How are you alive? They made me watch. So, yeah, I was kind of afraid that when Boyd revealed to Kenny that he was there, his mother wasn't alone in her final moments. I was kind of afraid Kenny would be like, you could have stopped this? You could have saved her! I was kind of afraid of that, but thankfully not. Thankfully, Kenny understood. So, the two of them were actually fully on board to find one of those monsters. Or, no, go in there and burn the monsters. potentially not coming back alive. But they decided not to. They decided, let's go home. So instead, they hold a funeral for Kenny's mother, which is very heartbreaking. It's very sad. She did not deserve this fate. Let's see. I forgot to mention that last episode. We also get the storyline with Tabitha and her pregnancy issues. She spends most of the last episode throwing up in the bathroom. That's pretty much it. This episode, she throws up more to the point she actually loses a tooth. So she and Ellis go to try to see Christy, but it's just, what was her name again? Marielle? But it's just Marielle there. At least you can talk about your stuff now and not immediately find your shiny. Oh no. I gotta talk about this wonderful show and not get the shiny I'm hunting? What an amazing fate. They're a little hesitant to let Marielle check her just because she's a junkie and she's not a doctor, but she assures them like she's a pediatric, whatever. I can't say the goddamn word. Anyway, she's able to check in on Fatima just fine. Fatima reveals she hasn't eaten in like 3 to 4 days because she can't keep food down. She can't even handle the smell. Now, I don't know the struggles of being pregnant, and I never will because I physically cannot get pregnant myself. I don't know. It's like, I know pregnancy has sicknesses too, and like you're more sensitive to food. Even the smell of food can make you nauseous. Like maybe sometimes you can't hold food down and you throw it back up. But like 3 to 4 days without eating when you're pregnant? That can't be good. Even Fatima said herself, she can't keep anything down. Even the smell of food makes her nauseous. Well, if that's the case, I can't really blame you, right? If you've tried to keep food down, not only to feed yourself, but the baby as well, and you just can't keep it down, you throw it back up, can't really blame you, can't really do anything else. You know, you tried. Marielle's just like, you should be fine. You're just severely malnourished. You need to eat. I'm thinking like, is that how it works? Because she lost a tooth. She threw up and she lost a tooth. Is that how it works? If you're pregnant and you're malnourished, do you lose teeth? Marielle's just like, you're lucky you only lost one. Is that how it works? Can women actually lose teeth if they're pregnant and malnourished? Really? I don't know. I guess, possibly, maybe. I don't know. The stress the body's going through, as well as the lack of energy and fuel source, whatever, I don't know. So, they head back to Colony House, both Ellis and Fatima. They're just like, let's get you something to eat. You need to eat something, dear, for both you and the child. Fatima's just like, I'll be fine, I can do this on my own. You should go check on your father. He did just witness his friend die right in front of him. Ellis is just like, alright. So he goes to check up on his father. Are you kidding me, man? I realize your father just went through something traumatic and he's dealing with a lot right now. But let me tell you this. If the woman I love was pregnant with my child as well, our child, and she hasn't eaten for days, I will not leave her side. Are you kidding me, man? I get your father went through some trauma, but like, buddy, your wife did not eat for days and she's pregnant. Why would you not stay? At least go after you have seen yourself that she has eaten. Well, Fatima notices outside that a bunch of the ladies are dealing with the rotten crops. They're thinking like maybe we can compost it to help with the soil that's been tainted. So everyone leaves and Fatima picks up the blue rotten vegetables and she starts eating it. What the fuck? Someone answer me this. During pregnancy, can taste buds change? Like if you... She said that even the smell of food makes her nauseous. So good smelling and tasting foods makes her nauseous. Is it the opposite as well? Does bad food, does rotten food give her an appetite? Because if that's not the case, then maybe she doesn't know that... maybe she doesn't know that Jim and Kenny found fresh crops. And this is all that she can eat, rotten food. So she just downs it because she's just that hungry and malnourished. It's one or the other. But regardless, I'm just like, what the fuck? You eating rotten vegetables? Those things are blue. I've never seen rotten food turn blue. That's how rotten they are. In reality, I bet you anything that in reality, the production, they just painted those vegetables blue. Like, the potato was blue. It wasn't even green and moldy. It was blue. Did they just dip it in some, like, edible ink? Printer ink for cakes? Or food coloring? I think that's an easier example. I feel like they just dipped it in some water-diluted blue food coloring. You gotta put a little bit more effort. At least make it green. You gotta put in a little more effort. At least make it green. Why is the rotting food blue? You know moss, and not moss, you know mold mostly comes out white, right? Why is it blue? This ain't a tampon commercial like Family Guy made the joke of. Anyways, yeah, Fatima just downs a bunch of rotten vegetables. I can't see this causing any problems in the future. No siree, not one. Oh, you know what? This whole time I haven't even checked if there's lights to turn on outside. Indeed, there were lights for me to turn off. That's not shiny. I forgot to mention what Boyd was saying in Chinese at the beginning. He was saying it back and forth because it was Kenny's mother's final words in Cantonese. So, once Boyd really badly butchers Kenny's mother's final words, Kenny miraculously was able to understand what he said. I couldn't understand what he said. I understood like one word Boyd tried to say. Kenny, translating, he's just like, take care of him. Take care of him. That was Kenny's mother's final words, as well as he's alone now. You know what? Now that I have the context for the end of the episode, it makes me root for Boyd even more, because he heard Kenny's mother's final words, and he kept on rehearsing it so that he won't forget it. He butchered the rehearsal, but hey, I would too. If someone say, wanted me to give a final message in French. I would rehearse it, probably butcher it. So you know what? That earns some respect points. That, in my book, that earns Boyd some respect points from me. You know, that mission passed plus respect. What the fuck is my friend sending me? He's sending me selfies of himself looking at a book, or looking at books, and really emphasizing the book cover. He sent me a picture of him holding a book cover that says, "How Should I Live as a Single?" by Joel R. Beek and Paul M. Smalley. And then he sent another picture. Keep in mind, he's at a wedding at a school. This is, the book cover literally says, "Pornography. Slaying the Dragon" by David Powlison. Powlison. David Powlison. That's a book at a school? The book title is Pornography, Slaying the Dragon? That's a book at a school? First of all, who has a wedding at a school? A school gym? What the hell? As weird as that is, I guess I could somewhat see the vision. It's like you and your sweetheart met at this school, so you want to celebrate your marriage. Where'd you first met? I guess. Sure, I can see the vision if that's the case. Or a wedding at the school. A wedding at a school, a school gym, is like the most ghetto, most most struggle venue I've ever seen. So anyways, Kenny's mother, her final words were, "Take care of him, he's alone now." So in Cantonese, that would go something like, "Jiu ku hoi la, hoi ga yako yan," something like that. Something like that. I don't know. You know what's funny though? In the first episode of season 3, Kenny and his mother were speaking in Chinese. The subtitles weren't even what they were saying. Because I understood what they were saying, for the most part, and the subtitles was something not entirely different, but still, like, not exactly what they said, however, still portraying roughly the same message. So something like, as an example, Kenny was saying, "I'm going out now," in Chinese. The subtitles would say, "I'll be back soon." It's not the exact same thing he said, however, it's roughly the same idea. I couldn't help but notice, like, the subtitles aren't even what they were saying. Okay, so I just asked him, is he still at the wedding? He said no, he's back at his girlfriend's place. Okay, so you're telling me that the book titled Pornography, Slay the Dragon is not a school book. Good. You know, something I forgot to mention about episode 1, a plot point that was not continued in this episode, so we'll have to see where it goes. So last season, Elgin, right? That's his name? Elgin was having dreams about this, like, disfigured woman figure drowning him. And Elgin is still dreaming her. The music box is destroyed, yet he's still dreaming this very grotesque woman figure. So there's some sort of other... I can't believe I'm saying this. There's some sort of other force at play here. Some sort of other being present that Elgin is able to see. Because why the hell not, right? Why? Of course the fuck this show would have something like this also. You know what theory popped into my head when Victor's father was saying, you know, free the children and you're not the first one. You're stuck at this place and maybe if you free the children, you will free everyone. You know what that reminds me of? Who knows, who remembers or knows what Corpse Party is? The story about the haunted school where the principal killed a bunch of kids and then that school became cursed. If you perform the ritual wrong, you get transported to that school that fucks with your head, and the only way to escape is to free the souls of the children who were wrongfully killed. It's a 4-episode anime, and it is horrific. It is brutal and gruesome. It is gory, and it is horrible to watch. Would you believe that was, of all things, my very, and I mean very first anime? That was the very first thing I watched as an anime, not counting Pokemon or Bakugan. Or if you want to count other things, anime like Avatar. I never watched Avatar, actually. Sad childhood, I know. It kind of reminds me of Corpse Party. So in From... they're stuck at this place, this horrific place that will kill you and mess with your mind, seemingly until you free the children. That sounds an awful lot like Corpse Party. They're stuck at a horrific place that could kill them at any moment, unless they free the souls of the children who were killed there. Is that what this place is? Is that the curse of this town? Did I just solve it? The place in From, were a bunch of children just wrongfully killed there, so they cursed the place, trapping anyone who is unfortunate enough to get there. And the only way for anyone and everyone to escape is to free the children. I don't want to say it also somewhat sounds like Five Nights at Freddy's. You know? Did I just crack the code? Is that what the show's all about? I'm done watching, or I'm done talking about From. I'm losing years of my life watching this show and thinking about it. Come on, Dialga. Be green. Please? Please? You know, we have 9 of these to hunt, and we're already 3 down. So we have 6 more to go. Wait, that's not right. So we have 9 more to go, because that's math. For fuck's sake, I can't do math. Just recently, I thought 10 to 7 was 10 hours, but no, if you're smart, unlike me, you'll easily be able to tell that's 9 hours. Anyways, I'm about to end this. Like, 1 or 2 more resets and I'm done. I did say I will end 5 minutes before midnight. Alright, 1 last reset after this. Last encounter tonight. No. No shinies today. Alright, peace out, y'all.